agent in Clinton. My guest on Zoom today, Dr. Anthony Joseph, is with the Audiology Department at Illinois State University. Dr. Joseph, how are you today?
Good morning, Seth. Hi.
Thanks for coming on
I'm
and doing this with us. And you've got a couple of your students with you today as well. Introduce me to Molly and Taylor today.
Yeah, I was just going to say that actually. Taylor Clay and Molly Whitcomb are two doctoral students in the laboratory. They've actually been in the lab for a number of years. They are in their seventh year of training right now, just getting ready to complete that and then go on to do their externships and then finish their doctorates and become doctors in the field. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taylor and Molly, super duper.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you for making time and talking with us this morning. And I'll tell you what, Dr. Joseph, let's start with you this morning. First of all, just tell us about the audiology department at ISU and maybe some of the things that Taylor and Molly are working on with you. What is this department look like, and what do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, my background is I'm a retired military officer, 24 years in the Navy, and then came on to start my second career here as a professor at Illinois State University, home of the Redbirds. To tell you a little bit about our audiology program, it's coupled within a department called Communication Sciences and Disorders. We provide a variety of services in our on-campus clinic, but our primary role is to train the doctoral students, bring them in, train them, get them out the door as fully functioning doctors of audiology. I think we're actually rated as one of the top programs in the state, if not the region, at doing that. So we also do research, and that's where my laboratory comes in. It's the Hearing Loss Prevention Laboratory. And we provide a variety of research products in areas of, again, my background is military, so occupational audiology, hearing loss prevention. But we also we have an interest in the older community, so geriatric audiology as well.
Mhm.
And then just, access to care and community health. We like to see if we can extend hearing care to as many people in the community as possible. Those are probably the biggest lanes that we're in. But the audiology department is located here in Normal, Illinois, on campus.
Mhm.
So it's one of those programs that we're fortunate to have a campus clinic. We're booked out usually fairly far, several weeks because it's quite busy. Actually, Molly worked in the clinic. Taylor saw patients in the clinic as well for a year or two. So I don't know, do you two have anything you want to say about the on-campus clinic or your experience?
Yeah, so we as students, as graduate students, get the opportunity to see patients in the on-campus clinic starting our first year,
Mhm.
um, which gives us the ability to get some hands-on patient care early in our graduate career so that we're really well prepared to be audiologists when we're done.
Mhm. And Taylor, what has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, working on campus, being in the clinic was very fulfilling, very interesting. The ISU clinic sees a lot of different patients, a lot of different specialties. So we get a lot of, like Molly said, hands-on experience that really grows our portfolio and makes us ready for real life as an audiologist. So
Mhm.
it was really great.
And
Molly and
Seth, your
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Seth, you, yeah, your listeners might want to know that when you think about an audiologist, you might just think about the hearing component,
Mhm.
but audiologists have quite a bit to do with the overall health of an individual, not just hearing, but balance and ringing in the ears,
Mhm.
and even some of the general health issues that we encounter. Because in many cases, you might have a health condition, but it's indicating you actually may have a cardiovascular condition or diabetes or a kidney disorder.
Mhm.
So the audiologist can get involved in getting patients to that level of care. That's why it's important to look at your hearing because it can often be an indicator of other health problems that you might be having. And as Taylor and Molly mentioned, and thanks for those comments, guys. We do try to give our patients a full experience of seeing lots of different cases, but what they do is after spending a year and a half or so in the on-campus clinic, they migrate out and do the next year and a half out in the community. and some of them go several states away to do their fourth year work. But that next year and a half of work they're doing in audiology practices in and around the region, from as far north as Chicago and all the way down to Taylor did some work over the summer down in the St. Louis area. So they're getting an expansive experience in working a variety of different clinical settings, and as they mentioned, doing lots of different procedures and seeing lots of different people. So it's a really exciting. It's really exciting to see them grow in that way.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. Joseph, tell us a little bit about a grant that you received that has allowed you to expand kind of what you do and get into rural and urban areas of the Midwest. What's kind of tell me about this grant and what you've done with it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Seth. We have a grant that we're in the second year of right now, and we'll be looking to get more funding. But for the last 2 years, we've been mapping out where all of the hearing health access points are in and around. First, we started with Illinois, and then we expanded out and completed all of the Midwest, so we know where all the hearing access points are in the Midwest. And then we moved on to start capturing some of the more populous states in the United States. And so now we know where those are. And the grantor then asked us to spend the second year looking at what are the solutions for individuals and for communities that do not have real good access to hearing care. So we've been experimenting with that with the last year. And as I said, in the lab, we've had that experience of getting out in the community and doing hearing screenings and hearing aid screenings and things of that nature. So we just had to pick it up a little bit higher to provide full hearing services in some of our locations, and then continue with the outreach services. We also developed a telehealth program, and all of our services, except for the full diagnostic services, are free. So when we show up, we like to provide free care. That seems to be more enticing to folks to come and participate. But yeah, with this experiment, with this grant, we've been able to enjoy getting out there and ultimately trying to determine, how do you provide extended care? How do you take care from the brick and mortar and put it out there? Well, probably the easiest way to do it is just to buy a $150,000 or $200,000 vehicle, a mobile clinic that has everything inside that you need, including a waiting area, and just pull up, plug in, and see people. I did that for the military for several years. It's the most convenient way to do it, right? You drive there, you plug in, you see people, and you leave. But we've been experimenting, and it's not easy to have that vehicle and maintain that type of vehicle. So we've been experimenting with some other ways to do it. And we've got a lot of stories to tell from that.
Now, did you find in your research that there were, whether it's areas of Illinois, whether it's other parts of the Midwest, where there were hearing service deficiencies, where they just didn't have that opportunity? Like it's like a grocery store. Like you don't have a grocery store in town or in a region. Did you find that to be the case with like hearing services and folks getting help for those things?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's been one of the major observations that we've made is not only the as you said, some of the deficiencies and the access to care, but once you tell folks, hey, we're going to show up, we'll be here, come on and see us. And that's why we're on your show, is the marketing of that care, is the marketing of those activities. We've learned is critical as well, because if people don't know what you're going to provide, a lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to show up and they're going to try to bill me, or they're going to try to sell me something. So we've got to learn a better way to kind of get that information out there so folks understand free care means free care. But I don't know if Taylor or Molly have anything to add to that, but we've had a number of observations. In terms of setting each of these access points up, many of them there's a legal a precursory legal piece that you have to get through because we're a university. We have to have all of the necessary paperwork in place before we show up. And I imagine this is going to be the same way for actually all the hospitals we work with require this legal paperwork. Here's what you're going to deliver to us. Here's how safe it's going to be, and things of that nature. Here's how much it's going to cost, and so forth. So there's that part we had to kind of get through. And then again, as I said, the marketing, the getting all the ducks in a row, getting appointments made if those are necessary, and then getting our providers to be there to provide that care, and hopefully the people, the patients and the families show up to receive that care.
Yeah.
Now,
Now, did Taylor or Molly, did they help you out at all in this research of what where to take this mobile clinic, and what people needed? Were they instrumental at all in that research process?
Yeah, they actually run the program. I just kind of sit back and wave my hands and have temper tantrums from time to time. But Taylor and Molly they're the ones who make it happen. They're actually they put on a role called coordinator, and then they coordinate all of our events and ahead of time, and then even after, follow up with our partners to find out how we could have done a better job for them.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. They can talk more about that if they want, but no, they're the instruments that make it happen. I'm just kind of along for the ride.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break here, guys, and we'll come back and maybe hear from Taylor and Molly about their findings and the research and that process. And also, we need to highlight, of course, this mobile clinic you're talking about, Dr. Joseph. It is coming to Clinton here in the next couple of weeks. So let's take a break. We'll hear about those things on the other side of the break. Again, Dr. Anthony Joseph with the Audiology Department at the University at Illinois State University, and a couple of his grad students, Molly Whitcomb and Taylor Clay, join us as well on the Zoom today. We'll talk more with them coming up on the morning show on WHOW.
Yeah, I've been looking at your Chippewa shirt there. It looks like it, unless you're are you a high school coach, or did you play at Central Michigan?
RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and Chicago wheat all lower at this hour. May corn down 6 1/4, 4.58.
I can't hear me.
July corn 4.66 down 6. New crop December 4.48 3/4 down 2 3/4. May beans down 4 1/2, 10.02 3/4. July beans down 3 1/4, 10.16 1/4. New crop November 10.05 1/2 down a penny. May Chicago wheat down 5 3/4, 5.42 1/2. July wheat 5.59 1/2 down 5 3/4. May bean meal 294.90 down 270. May bean oil 42.40 up 25 cents. Livestock market March feeders 286.67 up 7 cents. April live cattle up 27 cents 206.17. April lean hogs 86.40 up 70 cents. Energy market May crude oil 69.44 up 33 cents. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning. I'm Helen Michelasi, and I'm running for mayor of Clinton. I believe our city has a lot of recreational opportunities for people of all ages, skill levels, and abilities. My experience in grant writing, program development and expansion, and leadership abilities will benefit Clinton. We'll develop a plan to enhance and expand the recreational opportunities in our city. Clinton is a great city, and when we all work together, we can move Clinton forward together.
Paid for by Michelasi for Mayor.
Shane here from Highway 51 Exchange, just south of Clinton. Let us service your lawn and garden equipment for spring with our quick turnaround and service specials for free pickup and delivery. Click our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com for details.
Longview Community Bank provides real local ag lending. Vice President and Loan Officer Nate Sams here, asking you to find out the many ag lending products we can offer your farm by clicking our ad on the local news page of DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guests on the Zoom today, Dr. Anthony Joseph is with the Audiology Department at Illinois State University, and a couple of his grad students, Taylor Clay and Molly Whitcomb, with us on the Zoom today as well. And again, guys, thanks for joining us here this morning. And Molly and Taylor, we were going to hear from you about your experiences in research and conducting these taking this mobile unit out into the communities of the Midwest. Let's speak to just kind of getting that process up and started. How about that?
Yeah, so like Dr. Joseph was saying, over the past 2 years, we have been kind of looking at what's out there, seeing where maybe some of these deserts lie, and then applying our clinic to those areas. So me and Molly worked really hard to make some partnerships in the community, to get ourselves out there, to get our clinic out there, and really just address all of the health disparities that we saw through our research over the past year. So I don't know, Molly, if you want to add anything to that, but yeah, Molly and I have worked and Dr. Joseph, we've all worked really hard with the ISU clinic as well as the community to get ourselves out there and to really help the community.
Yeah, so we've made a lot of partnerships with places in Bloomington and more urban environments, and then also in rural environments that are in Pontiac, Clinton. I know I'm going to forget some of this. Carlinville. We have also been to Springfield, and so that gives us an opportunity to go where there's not a lot of places to receive care, and people from those areas kind of flock to us, and we become like a little hub that comes periodically to areas where there isn't really anyone to see them to kind of address those disparities. And that's been really rewarding for us.
What about the disparities in Central Illinois, whether it surprised you or that you learned about, Molly and Taylor? What did you come to learn about just in the mapping process, in the research process? What did you learn that maybe, like I said, surprised you or you didn't know before? How about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Personally, before maybe I was a graduate student and I was seeing patients, I never really considered the hardships that maybe other people had in accessing care. And so this research to me has really been eye-opening and makes me see things in a different light. It's been really rewarding. We've seen a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have gotten care otherwise. So it really makes you think about the disparities all over America, not just in Illinois, but everywhere.
Molly, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think another thing that I've learned through this research is that it's not just access to hearing healthcare or healthcare in general that is an issue, but when you're in one of those, we like to call it like a hearing health desert, there are higher rates of other chronic diseases and an inability to get access to healthy food on the regular and things like that. Like it's a compounded issue, not just a hearing healthcare issue.
Sure. Very good. Well said. Well said. And thanks for that input, ladies. And I'll tell you what, I want to talk about if Dr. Joseph, you want to talk about it, or Taylor or Molly, you want to chime in. But I know that your mobile clinic is coming to Clinton in the next few weeks. Tell us the when, the where, and what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So like you were saying, we are coming to Clinton next Friday, April 4th. We will be at Warner Hospital in DeWitt County from 1 to 3 p.m. So at this event, we are really excited to offer free hearing screenings, consultations to anyone who is able to come. No appointment necessary. You can walk in. We will be quick. It takes about 10 minutes. So it's a very easy way to come check your hearing health. It's very important to monitor your hearing and get your hearing checked regularly. So please make a point to come stop by. We will be there for you. We look forward to meeting you. I don't know if you want to add anything, Molly or Dr. Joseph, but we are excited to see everyone.
Yeah, Molly, if it's all right, can you speak to what the process looks like? Somebody walks in the clinic and they, what can they expect from start to finish? What does it look like?
Yeah, so we're hoping we have a great turnout, and it is a walk-in event. So I want everyone to be prepared that there could be a short wait. But when you arrive, you will see a graduate clinician and possibly an undergraduate clinician as well, who will go through a hearing health screener to kind of identify if someone is perceiving hearing difficulty, and then a short hearing screen where they will listen to some tones and raise their hand when they hear it. I think a lot of people are familiar with that. And then we'll do some counseling about the results and what next steps should be, if there might be a need for a full comprehensive exam, or if hearing health looks good on that day. We also will have some supplies for hearing aid cleanings. On that day, we can't do programming or anything else when we're on the go like that, but we can do some cleanings if people need that too.
Gotcha. Very good. So a lot of good stuff there. Dr. Joseph, wrap us up with the importance of getting your hearing checked, and maybe who should get their hearing checked. How about that?
You read my mind, Seth. That's exactly the last thing I wanted to touch on. As you heard from my colleagues on everything that we do, really hearing becomes more important for us as we get older, certainly. But even in your 20s and 30s, not a bad idea to get your hearing screened in, so you have a good baseline understanding of how well you hear, and making sure that there's no issues to discuss with your clinician. But particularly folks who should be coming in to get screened are those folks who are, I would say, over age 55 or so, the old retirement age. Once you get to that point in your life, there's the possibility that you could start seeing some slow decline of your hearing, certainly by age 60, and you should be getting a hearing test every year or two. But equally as important is balance. If you're having any balance issues or any issues with controlling your balance, there could be some indications there that your inner ear is having some problems, and we should have you. Hearing tests will be a good place to start because that's where hearing and balance are primarily connected.
Sure.
If you
I don't mean to,
issues,
Dr. Joseph, I
Yeah.
don't mean to cut you off. I am running out of time. So I'm sorry, Taylor, real fast again, the when and where on that clinic coming to Clinton.
Yes, we will be there in Clinton at Warner Hospital on Friday, April 4th from 1 to 3 o'clock p.m.
Very good, guys. Thanks so much for doing this with me. That's the folks from the ISU Audiology Department. Network News on the way.